2020 election COI members named. School children cash grant increased to $30,000. 3 in custody after failed bribe attempt. And government buffer reserves in the red. I am Enrico Bolthorpe, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. Almost 2 years after promising to conduct a commission of inquiry into the 2020 national elections, and 2 days after Vice News dropped its documentary, the Office of the President named the 4-member commission. Non-resident Justice of Appeal for the Turks and Caicos Islands, Justice Stanley John, will serve as the chairman. Former Justice of Appeals of the Eastern Caribbean Court and former Attorney General of Belize, Godfrey Smith, former Chief Elections Commissioner for India, Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, and finally, former Acting Chancellor of Guyana, retired Chief Justice Carl Singh, were all named as members. Jagdeo explained the government had held off on appointing the COI because several persons were already facing criminal charges in the courts. But after a recent review of the decision at the party level and within the cabinet, the government decided to go ahead with the COI now. He also said that if people don't want to come forward to testify, they could be subpoenaed. During the last 24 hours, floodwaters at Kwakwani Waterfront and Lamp Island have risen about 2 to 3 feet respectively, forcing several families to evacuate their homes and relocate to higher ground. Meanwhile, it has been reported that Koromoro Hilltop, located along the Unami River, has been eroded due to heavy rainfall. This is the main access roadway to several logging concessions in Region 10. There's also been reports of flooding in Region 7, 8, as well as 9. Yesterday, civil society group Article 13 picketed outside the Ministry of Natural Resources, calling on the government to urgently look at the terms and conditions signed with ExxonMobil and its partners. One of the group's founders, Yog Mahadio, yes, same one from GT&T, Yog Mahadio said the renegotiation of the contract will benefit all Guyanese. Mahadio believes the accounts of the oil company need to be carefully examined. Ultimately, they want the government to renegotiate the contract if it wants to bring real benefits to the people of Guyana. Indeed. The Ministry of Education has increased its school children cash handout to $30,000, and this year the distribution will begin in July. The Education Minister also announced that ongoing school textbook distribution programs will be extended to secondary school students. And over the next 2 years, she assured the public that all textbooks needed by secondary school students will be provided. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's Car of the Week. Currently on sale, this is 2016 Suzuki Jimny Sierra 4-wheel drive. It comes with regular and low-range 4-wheel drive, Bluetooth, mag rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, bar camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $3.4 million. Or pay as low as $700,000 down with around $67,000 monthly for 5 years, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info. Or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them the Rico sent you for this sweet deal. On Monday, someone broke into a car parked on Church Street in Georgetown and stole $600,000 belonging to the Finotech company. The police headquarters say the company's administrator withdrew $1.2 million on the company's behalf from the bank and made the report after she returned to her vehicle and noticed that it was broken into and the cash was missing after she left the vehicle and spent some money. According to her, prior to the theft, she'd actually spent $600,000 of the cash and placed the rest in an envelope in the glove compartment. The police are still investigating. Sirani Ramshawar is now in police custody after she attempted to bribe officers with $280,000 to forego an investigation against her brother, Davanand Rambaran, who was arrested on Tuesday. Rambaran was caught handing over 481 grams of marijuana to a man identified as Nicholas Osborne on the Wills Public Road. Cops found the weed and a firearm on Osborne's person. Rambaran was later arrested at his home in Friesland later that day. Meanwhile, at around 2:30 p.m. on Tuesday, Rameshwar visited the Parfait Harmony police station and offered a bribe of $300,000 to withdraw the offense against her brother. However, when the money was counted, it only came up to $280,000, allegedly. Regardless, all three are currently awaiting court. On the topic of weed busts, a total of 3.4 pounds of weed was seized during a search at the Mazaruni prison on Tuesday. A number of other prohibited items were also found and include 17 smartphones and 4 chargers, 22 packs of cigarettes, 24 improvised weapons, 6 scissors, 2 broken mirrors, 2 smoking utensils, and 2 knives. The security blocks, special watch, condemn section, stores, infirmary, and dormitory were searched. The black bag of ganja was located in the upper dormitory. For the best crotch in Guyana, wait, that should read, for all sizes of clutch disc and pressure plates for heavy-duty trucks in Guyana, check out Powered Automotive. Get this and other high-quality truck parts at the lowest prices. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles, or call them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. A mother is desperately searching for her 41-year-old son, Christopher Nichols, who left his Eccles East Bank Demerara house on Sunday, June the 19th, and never returned. Reports indicate that he was last seen heading to the bus park. A friend of hers had reportedly contacted her and told her that Nicholas was leaving the woman's store and seemed to be heading towards the bus park. The friend told the mother, but the man never returned home. Samaru said she filed the missing person report with the police. The mother said she is worried about her son since he is sick and may not be in the right frame of mind. A pity indeed. I hope he's found. Now for today's oil update. Construction has officially begun on the Vreeden Hoop shore base. Yesterday, they held a sod-turning ceremony to mark the start of construction on the U.S. $300 million project. The entrance to the new facility will be at Plantation Best, West Bank Demerara. Currently, the area is mostly sand and mangroves, but they are seeking to construct by 2024 a full-service shore-based facility on the more than 400-hectare stretch of land. Now for our stupid news of the day. You know what I think is stupid? Wasteful government spending at a time of economic crisis. While everyone was busy with Mr. Sue and his antics, the Bank of Guyana quietly admitted that our nation's general reserve is around negative $32 million US, or around 6.7 billion Guyana dollars. This is according to a report from Kaicha. Now, the government is blaming the overdraft on the volatile price increases for imports. Usually, debts are no issues for governments. In fact, for large-scale infrastructure projects, it's actually very common and sometimes more economically beneficial for government to take out a loan instead of spending their own money on it. But here's the problem. Guyana expected to maintain a buffer reserve that should be enough to cover 3 months of import. Now my question is, why was the account even allowed to go into the red when the government just transferred around $700 million US from the oil fund to the contingency fund? Now correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't $700 million bigger than $32 million? Now, I understand that the money was supposed to sort budgetary expenses or whatever, but then my question is, why isn't something important like our nation's buffer reserve considered one such expense? I have many more questions, but I'll just leave it there, and hopefully maybe one of you smart people in the comments can answer. But ultimately, I do believe that we need someone in the media who is not afraid to ask these questions directly and demand answers, because if you ask me, this whole thing with the bank account sounds pretty stupid. I'm serious, by the way. If you're an economist or you really know what's going on, please explain to me, because honestly, I'm seriously confused about this. It might not be robbery season, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, K-9 services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. Now for our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Yesterday, I asked you about what issue is not being covered in your neighborhood. Alexis Jordan says she's from South Rumville Gardens, and she would like to know what is going on with the fact that businesses are springing up left and right in a supposedly residential neighborhood. And she would really like someone to look into it because it is supposedly causing an increase of crime and damage to the streets of the community. I'm sorry to say, but that sounds like a serious zoning issue. One that unfortunately seems to affect all regions of this nation. We seriously have to update this nation's zoning laws. Mark Watson says garbage burning and littering in his community. Again, sadly enough, that is an issue that seems to plague all communities in Ghana. We've got some real serious issues here, honestly. Navin Singh says he lives in Parfait Harmony, and the roads are in terrible condition, and the only main drains are being cleaned. Indeed. And there's not enough lighting in that place. It's honestly scary to walk around at night. Michael Anthony has a similar complaint. He says there are too many flapping holes in the road. Erwin Ward is all the way up in Bartica. Oh, thanks for watching. And Erwin says that they do not have a proper stelling for the big boat to land. There is only a ramp for when the tide is low for trucks to disembark with. Well, that has to get fixed immediately. I mean, how are you going to have proper development if you can't even have the machines come in off the boats? And finally, Navindra Lal says that the local government needs to be looked at because there's far too much corruption at the NDC level. Honestly, some of the people who lead these NDCs act like little tyrants, believing that they're just lords of the manor of whatever village they live in. So, this goes out to the people who the government pays to watch the show, because, I mean, obviously they have people who they pay to watch the show, because, I mean, why else would they be chasing after us every other day? So, yes, to you guys, you heard all the people's complaints here, so please pass it on to the government to actually do something about it. And thank you all for all the love for my Shaggy impression. I guess if news doesn't work out, maybe I got a career in rap. Aha! So, before we get to tonight's question, you can multiply your cash by selling Digicel top-up. This is a easy way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for tonight's question. How do you feel about the government's cash grant for school children being increased? Do you believe it should be increased further, or should it not be done at all? I want to hear from you. So think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.